Hello, America. Eddie Marcus here again. You remember some time ago when a liar was just rejected? It's like a bad taste. Nobody wanted to be around a liar. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that evil in Washington must go. Evil in Washington must go. Now, we recognize that there has been a great amount of evil throughout this nation and throughout the world ever since it started. But it appears as if there was some type of hold on it, not to let it go amok. And now, beyond doubt, it seems as though evil has just taken over America. It began some time ago, but more specifically in the presidential election of 2016. We, the people of the United States of America, had two citizens put before us as a choice: Republican and Democrat, Clinton and Trump. And it appears as if nothing was really said nice about these people. They were both represented by evil. Even according to their challengers, they were called evil. And the kinds of evil that they represented was pointed out. Evil. And the American people, what kind of people have we become? We stood back there and looked at all of this. We did research on these individuals. We found out the kind of things that the Republican Trump kept himself dealing with constantly. We found out that he was a liar. We found out that he kept involved in things that were illegal one way or another. The challenges were made, and he would always try to lie himself out of it. We talked about the Clintons and the kinds of things that they were caught up in, like killing people. We don't know for a fact that this was true. They didn't argue about it. They were just saying all of the number of people who had come forward about things that the Clintons were caught up in, and they ended up dead. True or not, this is what we had put before us as citizens of the United States of America. And we didn't say, get these people out of here. We want decent individuals. We want people who were reputable. We did not say that. We accepted these liars by saying one is less evil than the other. We accepted evil as our choice. And now we have evil in the White House lying by the thousands of lies. The news media covering the lies and spreading the lies and keeping the lies afloat to the American people. A lie, they say, repeatedly over and over again will soon start sounding like the truth. And for whatever the news media might say about that, they are constantly repeating these lies, constantly repeating these lies. And now we find ourselves accepting these liars as legitimacy within the United States of America. There was a time back in the 60s when people had a backbone, when people had some kind of association with God. They stood up for something. They stood for something. They represented something, but not now. It seems as if anything in America goes. Just come up with it and it goes in America. And as we look at these presidents and all of the lies that he tells and step back on a lie and then jump forward on that lie again. It is constantly repeated. And what do we have? We have lawyers and politicians and everybody joining on the bandwagon of that lie, promoting that lie, suggesting to the American people that it's not a lie, telling the American people it's the truth when every evidence indicates that it's a lie. You got the people that you have chosen to go to Washington and represent you, not representing you, but jumping in the bed with a lie and looking at expecting you to love them and put them back in office again. Liars, liars, and evil, and it's constantly happening. Look what it's teaching our children to do. Our children are seeing these liars. There was once the time you tell your kids, don't you lie. But now lying seems to become the norm. Liars and liars all over Washington. Liars and liars everywhere. And our kids are thinking that, well, they told us not to lie, but they lied, so all we got to do is lie. Our kids are saying they are evil, and they told us not to be evil, but since they are evil, we're picking up the evil too. That's why our kids are taking guns, going into schools and stuff, killing other kids, because this is what they see America has turned into. There was a time when they said that when people were upset at what the government was doing, they had the right to protest. Now you've got evil in the White House and in Washington saying that regardless of what evil is doing to you, there's nothing greater than America and America's flag. So you got to accept that evil and stand up when America is being honored by a flag regardless of what you think. That is totally evil. That is totally un-American according to the Constitution of the United States, and it is definitely ungodly, and yet this is what we're having every day. Lawyers who say, I got to come back to them, that I don't care how evil a person must be, evil has the right to have somebody speaking for it. And the lawyers are all getting in line, speaking for evil, justifying evil, and corrupting the minds of the people, corrupting the minds of the American citizens. I say evil must go. Everybody who's decent in America should be on the streets, not talking about jobs, not talking about health care, but to get this evil liars out of Washington. Get these evil liars out of Washington, and get these evil liars out of Washington today. And what is the church doing? What is the church, those that are supposed to represent God, saying about these liars? They are not saying anything, or if they're saying anything, it has nothing, no legs, it has no feet, it's not doing anything. You got people telling you, stand still, just be still, and watch God fight your battles, and you will come out victorious. Everybody will see how wonderful God has been to you. Well, what is God doing about these liars? What is God doing about these liars? Who's standing up in God's name saying these liars must go? Who is standing up giving some representation for what goodness is all alike? If God is fighting this battle for us, is it being fought in the number of floods that's taking over these cities? Is it being fought by God with the number of earthquakes that's happening? Is God fighting our battles by what's happening in Alaska and Hawaii with all of the volcanic explosion and the ash flying everywhere and the lava flowing everywhere? Is God fighting our battles through the tsunamis that's occurring in various places of the world? Is this what we call God fighting our battles? Well, if God is fighting our battles, we better get off our butts and help God so these kinds of things can stop. Because when these floods come, when these volcanoes explode, when these earthquakes happen, they don't know the good person from the bad person, and it's happening to everybody. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, we have a challenge today. We have a challenge today. If there's any decency in us, we should stop accepting these liars as being legitimate. If we have an ounce of decency in us, the news media should stop spreading these lies and stop constantly putting these lies before us. People don't know what the truth is now. Or you tell a lie and then you sit around and say, I didn't say it, and you tell a lie and say, I did say it, and people are so confused, they're just wide shut. It is time that somebody, and by the power of truth, by the power of love for decency, it is time that somebody get up and stand up and tell these liars in Washington that they got to get the hell out of here. And when this election comes around, every liar that's been sitting up there lying, everybody who got to vote should go and vote for one thing. Not about the economy. Vote for one thing. Not about the jobs and health care or any of that stuff, or how great America is. Every last one of these liars should be voted out of Washington, and see if there is any decency still left in this country. See if there are still any decent people in this country. Anybody with a heart, anybody with faith, anybody with love. Are you still in America? It seems as if America has turned to be nothing but a Sodom and Gomorrah. It seems as if America, and I'm talking to you people of America, all of this stuff does not just happen. It doesn't stand up on its own legs. It stands up, and we are the crutches. We are everything that's holding us up. We are everything that makes evil real in this country. And we sit up and, like I'm pointing my finger right now, but I'm trying to run for office to get this junk out of here with one purpose, to get this junk out of here and put some decency. I'm trying to stand up for God and let everybody know that God is the one who gave us jobs, and that God has given each of us a skill, a gift that we can use in the creative process of what this nation is supposed to be about. I'm trying to inform everybody that all of the resources that are in the earth, above the earth, and on the earth are directly from God. And all the dreams and aspirations we have come directly from God. And the ability to exercise that and create from that all that America can be comes from God, not from liars. They are deceiving you. They are killing you. And they are making people all around the world hate you. The fact that somebody says we got the biggest and strongest military, is that what is that what the Star Spangled Banner is supposed to represent? The bombs in the air, the planes flying, and the drones and the killing? That doesn't scare God's people. So if God's people anywhere being challenged, it is time we stand up. It is time we stand up. We have to stop waiting for somebody else to do it. The streets should be overflowing just like the rivers of water that's flowing down through Maryland. The people should be flowing all over this nation, saying these liars and hypocrites and low-down evil people in Washington has got to go, and we should not be waiting for another election. Anything that comes from the devil is nothing but rotten eggs, and I guarantee you it stinks and it's going to spoil. And I don't care what you might think you're benefiting from it today. If you say that God is working, sit still, you're going to see some hell of a time sitting still. I challenge everybody in America. I challenge everybody in the United States of America, black folks and white folks and women and men and children and old folks, get up off your butts and tell evil it has no resting place in this country. Tell the evil it got to get the hell out of here and got to get out of here quick. There's no way in the world you should have a liar that puts before you, and then you choose him as your representative. And then that liar stands before you and talks about everybody, degrades everybody, says he can kill anybody and get away with it, doesn't have to show his taxes, can do anything, a dictator liar. And we, the American people who have for years and years and years said we were all of this, we were all of that, we were the most God-fearing nation on the face of the earth. Now we are a big bully nation, trying to bully our control and power that we think we have over everybody. We don't have to bend to anybody. What kind of world do we live in? What kind of country have we become? I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, every last one of you who are listening to me right now should fall on your knees and tell God you're sorry. You should fall on your knees and ask God to give you an ounce of courage. You should fall on your knees and ask God to give you some motivation so you can stand up on your feet, stand up on your legs, and open your mouth and start hitting in there in these streets. And this bull that we got in this country has got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time that the evil in Washington must go. And while I'm saying this, yes, I am in the state of Minnesota. And I'm asking the people of the state of Minnesota to make me their next United States Senator. Not to put Minnesota first, but to put God first. To go to Washington and remind these lying senators and people who have no backbone that there is a God. And we don't have to bend to evil. To use that as a platform to speak to the American people and say that God is true and God is love. And all of the stuff that we think we can get from hate, we can get 10 times fold more than that from God by being honest, genuine individuals. That we don't have to have war, that we can talk about the things that brings about peace and stop being hated by everybody. We used to be kind of liked a little bit. Now we're being hated. We're being put in a position where people are scheming against us. We don't have to be like this, ladies and gentlemen. God does not want us to be like this, but we choose to be like this. And we should get up off our knees after we've prayed and start walking like we are legitimate, God-fearing, honest, loving, kind-hearted people. And stop acting like children of the devil, the evil in Washington. It is time for it to go. Bye-bye.